It was 7:15 a.m. in Nashville when I opened the email that shattered my world. My 1-year-old daughter Emma was babbling happily in her high chair, completely unaware that her father had just blown up our lives with a single message. The subject line read simply, "Moving on." I almost spilled my coffee when I opened the attachment and saw the photo. Donald, my husband of 5 years, wrapped around a young blonde woman, who couldn't have been older than 23. They were standing in front of our lake house, our vacation home that we bought just last year. The same home where we'd spent countless weekends planning our future together. "The house is mine now," the email declared. "I've already moved in with Amber. My lawyer will be sending over the divorce papers. Don't bother fighting it. The deed is in my name." I felt my hands trembling as I set down my coffee mug, but not from fear. No. This was pure rage building inside me. Donald really thought he could just email me divorce papers and steal our vacation home? The home I'd paid for with profits from my business? He had no idea what was coming. I looked at our daughter, still innocent and happy, playing with her breakfast. Then I glanced at the framed photo on our kitchen wall, Donald and me on our wedding day, both smiling like we had the world figured out. 5 years of marriage, and this was how he chose to end it? With a smug email and a photo of himself with a woman nearly half my age? I took a deep breath and picked up my phone. My finger hovered over Donald's contact information for a moment before I clicked block. Then I opened my email and typed 2 simple sentences in reply. "Are you sure about that? Better check the paperwork carefully." I hit send, blocked his email, and turned back to my daughter with a smile. Donald had always underestimated me. He saw me as the accommodating wife who'd supported his career while building my own business on the side. He probably thought I'd break down crying, maybe beg him to reconsider. But he'd forgotten one crucial detail about me. I didn't build a successful company by being naive about protecting my assets. Looking back, I should have seen this coming. The signs were there, little red flags I dismissed because I was too busy juggling my growing business and our new baby. Donald had been making frequent business trips to the lake house over the past 3 months, claiming he needed peace and quiet to work on some big corporate merger. I built my company from scratch while supporting his career moves. When we met 6 years ago, I was already running a successful online retail business, but Donald acted like it was just a cute hobby. He loved telling people how he'd helped me turn it into something real. The truth? My business had tripled in value since we married, all through my own hard work and strategic planning. The lake house had been my idea, a perfect getaway for our family. Close enough to Nashville for weekend trips, but far enough to feel like a real escape. I'd paid for it entirely with my company's profits, but Donald had insisted on putting his name on the deed. For tax purposes, he'd said. I'd agreed, but not before having my lawyer draft some very specific documents about the property's true ownership. Last week Donald had been especially distant, spending hours on his phone in our home office. When I'd asked about the merger, he'd gotten defensive, snapping that I wouldn't understand the complexities of corporate finance. Rich, coming from a man whose investment portfolio I'd secretly been managing for the past 3 years. I picked up Emma from her high chair and held her close, breathing in her sweet baby scent. She had Donald's eyes, but my determination, I could already see it in the way she tackled every new challenge. Looking at her now, my resolve strengthened. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about protecting her future too. I walked to my home office, Emma on my hip, and opened my laptop. Within minutes, I'd emailed my lawyer the documentation proving I'd purchased the lake house. Then I pulled up the security camera feed I'd had installed at the property, another precaution Donald knew nothing about. The cameras had caught everything. Every visit, every guest, every betrayal. Amber might have been basking in her victory at the lake house, but she had no idea she was starring in a video that would feature prominently in my divorce proceedings. My phone buzzed. A text from Rachel, my assistant. "Julia, you need to see this." Attached was a link to Amber's Instagram profile. There, going back months, were dozens of photos of her with Donald. Some were even taken in our bedroom at the lake house with her wearing my clothes, using my things. The latest post showed her flashing a massive diamond ring, my grandmother's ring, the one Donald had promised we'd give to Emma on her 18th birthday. I felt sick. This wasn't a recent affair. This had been going on since before Emma's birth. In one photo from 8 months ago, Amber was proudly holding up a key to the lake house. Caption reading, "Home sweet home with my love heart eyes. New chapter moving in together." While I was up all night with our newborn, Donald had been playing house with a woman barely out of college. The dates on the photos matched perfectly with his business trips. Every time he'd said he was working late, every weekend he'd claimed he needed to check on the lake house. It had all been lies. My hands shaking, I opened my banking app. That's when the second blow hit. The joint account where I deposited money for Emma's college fund was empty. Every penny, nearly $100,000, gone. Transferred out yesterday to an account I didn't recognize. The rage I'd felt earlier transformed into something cold and calculating. I called my bank immediately, then my lawyer. Within an hour, I had confirmation. Donald had been systematically moving money around for months preparing for this moment. He'd even tried to access my business accounts but failed. Those at least were protected by ironclad contracts and separate banking arrangements. Rachel called while I was on the phone with the lawyers. "Julia, there's more." She sent me a series of screenshots from Amber's private Facebook page. The girl had been bragging to her friends about landing a rich older man, and how they'd planned to take his boring wife for everything she was worth. There were even messages joking about how oblivious I was, too busy with my little online shop to notice what was happening. Little did they know that little online shop had made me a millionaire 3 times over. I'd kept that information private, letting Donald believe my business was merely successful, not wildly profitable. His ego had never allowed him to really look at my company's books, to understand exactly what I'd built. I looked at Emma, now napping peacefully in her playpen. "Don't worry, baby girl," I whispered. "Mommy's about to teach Daddy a lesson about underestimating women in business." I spent the next few hours in a flurry of activity. My lawyer, Sarah, arrived at my house just before noon. As we sat in my home office reviewing documents, Emma napped upstairs with Rachel keeping watch. I'd hired extra security for the house. Something told me Donald wouldn't take my email response well. "He's not as clever as he thinks," Sarah said, examining the lake house documentation. "The deed may be in his name, but we have ironclad proof that your business funds purchased the property. The transfer records, the contracts, even the emails where he admits it was your money. It's all here." I nodded, pulling up the security camera feeds on my laptop. "There's more, look at this." The footage showed Donald and Amber entering the lake house at various times over the past months. But what really interested Sarah was the footage from 2 days ago. It showed Donald carrying box after box of items from the house, including several pieces of art I'd purchased with my company profits. "That's attempted theft of business assets," Sarah said, making notes. "The art collection was purchased through your company for tax purposes. We have the documentation." Just then my phone lit up with a call from an unknown number. I put it on speaker. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" Donald's voice was sharp, angry. "Check your business email, Julia. My lawyers have been busy too." I pulled up my email and felt my stomach drop. Donald's lawyers had filed an emergency petition claiming my business had been built using his expertise and connections. They were demanding a full audit and temporary control of my company's accounts during the divorce proceedings. "You'd really try to take my company?" I kept my voice steady despite my racing heart. "The company I built before I even met you." "You built?" He laughed coldly. "Who do you think gave you all these corporate contacts? Who introduced you to the right people? Face it, Julia, you'd be nothing without me. Amber understands that. She knows how to be grateful." I muted the phone and turned to Sarah, who was already typing furiously on her laptop.